me see if we are live. Dude, I don't know why it keeps saying every time that I change it, it always goes to the Nifty Island thingy that we did a while ago. It's so annoying. All right, cool.
It's gonna make the still hang.
Let me send you the link. 1 second. All right, there you go. All right, cool. Let me record. All right, guys, I think we're good to go.
Hey, Bob.
All right. Yep. All right, I guess now I can transition to the instead of the Plooshies lo-fi to the shitty AI songs that we have here. Give me 1 sec. Like, it's so much better the one that we have, but anyways, let's play this one. Okay, maybe not.
This is down.
Yeah, dude. Oh my goodness. All right, something chill should be fine. Is that that's your plushie, right?
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm just gonna use this as a base.
All right, cool. Well, I guess yeah, let's go for it. GM guys, we are back with our live stream. Sorry that we didn't do that yesterday. You know, sometimes it gets a little bit busy, especially now, you know, with fucking everything going well with Pengu, Abstract. We're getting a bunch of DMs. You know, it's wild. But we're back. We're back today, and we have a very special guest today. They're also building an Abstract like the Plooshies. And at the end of the stream, we're gonna let you know If you're a plushie holder, and even better if you're an inner circle plushie holder, there might be something coming your way. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna leave the floor to you, Sad Boy. Introduce yourself. We've been in DMs for quite some time, but I'm just very excited for the stuff that you guys are doing, and yeah, let's do it, bro.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me on here. Really appreciate it. I'm Unfollow Dan, aka Sad Boy from the Moonsheep / the Sad Times project, and yeah, I've been chatting with Bogan and the Plooshies team for some time now, and decided to
Yep.
just like come hang and vibe and tell you guys a little bit about the project, learn a little bit more about the Plooshies.
Yeah, dude, exciting times because both projects. I mean, we're not new. It's not like we're launching kind of like. I mean, obviously we have our own existing NFTs on ETH, which makes it even more exciting, right? Because now that we are transitioning to abstract, launching something new products on that chain, following the consumer crypto narrative, led by Luca, Pengus, Igloo Inc., Abstract, Saigar, and the team, etc. It's just pretty exciting. Not gonna lie. It's busy. It's getting busier by the minute. But yeah, how should I call you though? Like Sad Boy, Unfollow Dan, Dan. What do you prefer though?
um, that's tough. I guess I'm so used to being called Sad Boy at this point. I feel like it's
Yeah.
like become me.
Right.
But
Right.
I think for this Dan's probably okay.
Okay. Fair. Okay. I'm gonna start calling you Dan because yeah, it's like either Sad Boy, Unfollow Dan. Like, what's up with that? Yeah. But yeah. Actually, before we transition to getting to know you a little bit better and why you chose abstract, what you've done before in this space, not just you as Sad Boy and Follow Dan, but with your project, right? I wanna leave the floor a little bit to Cole so we can like the community can get to know what are we gonna do today, especially if you're not familiar with our live streams. Uh, what we used to do, or what we are used to do, right, is Cole is one of our main 3D artists at the Plooshies. As you can see, he's insanely talented. Like even if you don't really care about what we are saying, because we're gonna be yapping a lot, you can just pay attention to what he's building. And what we try to do is kind of like plushify everything. So it's kind of like having a plushie, and then if anyone, whoever that may be, whether that be founders, KOLs who join our live streams, Cole creates custom artwork with the plushies, whether that be a scene or just a plushie that can be rigged later on. But yeah, cool, exciting stuff. And for now, I think Cole, you can take it from here.
Yes, so we're just gonna make Dan's PFP today, which is like a sheep with a jacket, a headband. Well, it's not
Yep.
gonna be a sheep, but a plushie. Yeah.
Imagine that the 12th animal in our collection.
Yeah.
Hey?
I was thinking
I'm
about
so
it, but
excited.
it's gonna take ages.
Imagine that. But yeah, can you show the dance PFP so people can,
Oh,
if they're
yeah.
not familiar with how his PFP looks like?
Let me bring it into Blender. But yeah, we're also gonna do like the turntable thing, which the sheep collection has.
Oh, yep, nice.
That's how it looks.
So that's you. I mean, I guess if you want to dox yourself, Dan, I don't know if you. I mean, maybe some people know how you look like, but do you look like your sheep, sir?
I honestly think I kind of do. I'll dox myself in a second. I'm in the car, but
Yep.
we'll be parking. But yeah, I'll dox myself in a little bit. But I'm pretty doxed. I feel like people can find me pretty easily because
Okay.
of we really started with the clothing brand. So
Okay.
if you look up Satire, it'll kind of you could find out who I am. Fortunately or unfortunately, but
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword in this industry, hey. But yeah, I feel like now people. I mean, I think they're more. They feel more comfortable doxing now. Whereas back in 2021, it was kind of like the narrative, like unknown team, undoxed team, and but yeah, I think times are a little bit different now. But yeah, like I mean, Dan, maybe yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, like how long you've been in the space, Why crypto? Like, what were you doing before? You mentioned, the clothing brand. But yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so I guess
Oh,
like
by
I
the
like
way,
the.
sorry. Cheers,
Oh, no
guys. I'm
worries.
drinking beer. It's the holiday season, right? Like Christmas is just around the corner. It's 2 p.m. I know it's kind of winter-ish weather, but I'm in Mexico and it's actually kind of hot today. So I'm drinking a beer. So cheers, guys.
We like that. We like that. Um, I'm actually on my way back from a yoga class with my dad. I'm out here visiting him in horrible Hawaii. It really sucks.
Dude.
So right now,
Oh, man.
he's doing the classic thing where we got to go to Costco on the way back.
Yep, yep.
But yeah, a little
Is
bit
he,
about my.
because you said that you're driving back home, right? So I'm assuming your dad is sitting next to you.
Yeah, he's sitting next to me.
All right, cool. Well, hello, sir. Hello, Dan's father. We're just chilling at the moment. I don't know if he kind of understands what you do in Web3, but if not, this is one of those things, I suppose.
No,
That's basically
he's got
what
a
I was doing.
Twitter. We have him.
Is
We
that
have him on
right?
his Twitter. He's like reposting every single sheep thing. He's really into it actually, and he really,
Oh, wow.
honestly, the funniest thing ever. He's an XRP maxi, like the classic
Oh, my
cliche of
goodness.
everyone's dad has XRP.
Yep. It's a boomer coin, so I suppose it kind of makes sense, hey?
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it.
Yeah, lol. But yeah, I don't want to interrupt you anymore. Go for it, Dan.
No, no worries. Well, so actually the journey to Web3 really started with our clothing brand. So,
Okay.
I kind of like to give a little background of the clothing brand. Around 6 years ago, I was really depressed. I was writing poems at the time, like sad
Oh,
poems,
wow.
and my roommate was a
Uh,
photographer.
I guess now I can understand the handle, Sad Boy. Okay, there's a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah,
of lore behind that. Interesting. All right.
and I put some sad poems and a picture and my roommate's photography on a shirt, and I was like, damn, like this is the coolest thing ever. And it wasn't the coolest thing ever, but I really kind of fell in love with that process of creation and kind of just like using sadness to create something and self-express. And so the brand Satire, which is a play on the words satire and satire, was born. And the reason
Okay.
this is relevant is because the mascot, this is 6 years ago, was always a sheep.
Okay.
And originally we thought it was going to be a black sheep, but then as we thought about it and it evolved, we kind of realized like it was like a white sheep is more impactful because it's it's more satirical, like it's funnier, like it's like we're all part of this system, we're all kind of like sheep in society.
Yep.
We go
Yep.
to school, we get a job, we're told we need to love this, we need to hate this, we watch TV, we need to sheep into the next trend. And so I've just had this idea of sheep in my head for a very long time. And then a couple years later, and that brand really blew up during COVID, when the mental health started to be a little bit
Yeah.
more talked about, and Justin
Yep.
Bieber and a bunch of celebrities really helped endorse it. And so that kind of allowed me to quit my job and to go into being a creative director and creator full time, which was a huge blessing.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
after that, my friends owned a company called Origin Protocol, and it's an old school DeFi project. And they were
Yeah.
just telling me a lot about NFTs, and I was just amazed, just like what was kind of going on. You're hearing Bored Ape is being worth, is everywhere.
Hundreds of thousands, if not millions. Yeah.
Hundreds of, it was crazy. And something about it just really excited me because to me it just felt like it was this intersection of art and technology that like hasn't been explored. And
Mm.
fashion's amazing, but it's been there for thousands and thousands of years. But
Yep.
for to be at the birthplace of like what I think is like what I still believe at its purest form is this digital revolution. It's the intersection of art, tech, community, finance, the mix of all these beautiful things. And for us to kind of write that story and to be there at the start, like what a huge blessing. So we worked on we thought this was kind of like an art collector's world, and everyone was art collector. So
Mm.
we spent 16 months just like making what I thought was art and a self-expression of the sheep. And
Yep.
a commentary on society. All the sheep had different jobs, kind of relating to how we perceive people's values based on the job that they have, and just trying to be really smart and counterculture in a lot of ways. And then we worked on it so long that we missed the entire bull run, and the FTX crash happened, and we had to launch for free.
Oh shit! Yeah.
And so, but we took that as a sign, to be honest. Like, we were like, you know what, like, maybe this is destiny. Maybe we were meant to be born during the sad times. Maybe we're meant to like do things right and like start with this group of people and get people through sad times. Like, that's what the project's soul was always about. And so we just grew our Instagram. We tried to create product that would actually create revenue, realizing that, at some day, like, the musical chair might end. We need to create. Luca found our Instagram through a viral video. He messaged me on Twitter and told me he might have a place for us. And he says, "Hey, I'm working on something. Can't tell you what it is yet." And I was like, "Oh, like, I mean, please, Luca, tell me." And he's like, "I'll tell you in a few months." And we're completely self-funded. Never took $1 really from the community. Put our own money in from the clothing brand. Luckily, that was really successful. And then he told me to come on to. Thank you so much. And then come on to Abstract, and I was like, hell yeah! Like, this sounds great.
Yeah.
A little skeptical at first, but as I met the team, as I saw his vision, as I felt that I was part of a community, like in L2 being a community was such an interesting, like, I don't know, just like was a different take. Like, I don't think anybody's ever created an L2 with like a true community or culture. Like,
yeah, I agree. It's such an interesting concept. It's such an interesting concept, right? Because I mean, obviously they've been building that community. I mean, first from the Pudgy Penguins community, right? But they also, I mean, they've impacted Web3 in so many different levels that now you see so many founders, whether that be repping a Pudgy Penguin or a little Pudgy PFP. It's just pretty embedded in our space, right? So the community kept growing and growing, and the fact that they're focusing a lot on that. It's such an interesting take. And obviously, I mean, the community kept growing now, obviously, with Pengu and, with Abstract and all the teams that are building there. They're just bringing so many people together. And I mean, kudos to you. Like, I didn't know how, kind of like your story of how you got onboarded into Abstract. But you know how Luca is, right? Like, if he sees something viral with potential and he found you guys via Instagram, I mean, it speaks volumes of the stuff that you guys have been doing for the past few years.
Thank you. And I mean, I feel bad hogging it, so I'd love to know a little bit of your journey. I know a lot. I know a pretty good amount about Plooshies, but I know there might be some people who might not know kind of the story of how you guys came. So I'd love to kind of know how you became a part of Plooshies and, just a little bit about what you guys are about.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the conception of the Plooshies happened way before we minted the project in 2023. Both of the co-founders, they go by the name Victor the Viking and Psychic Penelope. And the story of Victor the Viking is really, really interesting, right? Because this account called Victor the Viking was handled by the two co-founders and one of the partners of one of the co-founders, right? So they bought the Pudgy Penguin. They bought a Pudgy Penguin with a Viking helmet. They created, this persona called Victor the Viking back in 2021. So it was before Luca took over the Pudgy Penguins. So people who are familiar with the Pudgy Penguins lore and, they know how it went and how Luca ended up it's one of the most successful CTRs we've seen in Web3. People were familiar with Victor the Viking. He was one of the first ones who kind of introduced, like the team, right, as Victor the Viking, one of the first ones to introduce storytelling with the Pudgy Penguins. So they were creating a bunch of different stories with the Pudgy Penguins IP and with other holders Pudgy Penguins. They even had their own Discord channel back in 2021 where people were able to see like these really cool and cute animations, simple animations in 2D, but super cool though. So it became part of the lore. So a bunch of the people, like OG Pudgy Penguins, they remember that. So when they decided, okay, let's do something on our own. Let's stop, providing services for people who are looking to do stuff in Web3, I think now it's time for us to bring something, right? So they started developing the idea of the Plooshies, the idea of the IP with the main 3D artist called Win, who's based in Indonesia. And, they would just back and forth and kind of developing what do we want to do. We know that storytelling is one of our main assets, 3D art as well. And we have the network now. We've been in the trenches as well with other people who've been in the trenches since 2021. And it was a bear market, right? You mentioned FTX crash. And then obviously in 2023, the bear market, right? Like Ethereum on the 2K. And so they developed the collection. Then I got onboarded first as a community member, because I've been in Web3 at least with NFTs since 2021, like mid 2021. So I pretty much missed the Bored Apes and the Penguins and stuff, but I really got hooked. With Web3, the tech, the art community, etc., etc., and it was due to COVID, right? Because while the stuff that I was doing in Web2, I was a community organizer for an NGO back in Melbourne. And obviously, due to COVID, they reduced my hours from 40 to 20, but you still need to pay your bills and such. And I always got interested, crypto, the first thing that I bought was Dogecoin a very long time ago. And I was able to, sell my Dogecoin and then start, buying NFTs that ultimately ended up rocking and shit. So I guess that was my learning curve. But I got to know a lot of really cool people from different communities, a bunch of people from the Project Penguins community. And then when I got onboarded into the Plooshies, well, kind of like one of my side things that I was doing in Web3 besides trading and stuff and helping projects, it was creating their discords and kind of like securing them, because I remember back in 2021 there were a bunch of scams. The discords were set up pretty like poorly, right? Like really bad. So I decided maybe I can start doing this, and kind of like the journey of a lot of people who got immersed in Web3 back then. It was sort of like the path of becoming a moderator, that perhaps a community manager, a collab manager. So I did all of that and adding setting up their discords for their projects and then helping them out. So because of that, I was able to kind of grow my network with people who were looking to found their space in Web3 and bringing projects, etc. And in 2023 I got referred by people who knew me from back from 2021, and most of them were Pachi Penguins. So I got into the Plooshies Discord seeking a whitelist spot. And kind of like like the first thing that I noticed, it was the Discord was set up pretty bad. So I remember that I told them like, hey, I can help you put this in order, and don't worry about that. Like, I really like what you guys are doing. I really like the IP. I love the animations that you are putting, and I'll do it for free. Like, let's jump on a call. And I said that to Victor, right? So I think maybe 24, 48 hours later, he sent me a DM as well. He was like, let's just jump on a call, right? And that call, like the first call that I had with him, lasted for maybe 2.5 hours. We talk about so many things, right? Like, we connected so hard, and I was like, dude, I really want to be part of this. I really truly believe in the vision that you want to bring with the Plooshies IP and to Web3, etc. And then obviously, because besides the storytelling that they were bringing, the animations, the mini games that people were playing just to acquire a whitelist spot, and the first iteration of Plooshy Island, it just felt like so good, right? Like, it was like, wow, these guys kind of know what they're doing, right? So I became part of the team, and I told Victor, look, I can help you set up your Discord if you need a little bit of help with this and that and that and that. I can do that as well. Like, honestly, you don't really have to pay me anything. I'm just doing it because I truly believe in what you guys are doing. So then, long story short, we minted the Plooshies at 0.03 ETH back in Q1 23, which is interesting though, because remember, it was the middle of the bear market. Ethereum on the 2K. If you remember, it was the open edition meta. Free NFTs were, going fucking bananas and shit. So when we announced, it's always been 3,333 NFTs. Like, we didn't cut the supply or anything, but when we announced the mint price for the Plooshies, it was 0.12 ETH. So people were used to, the open edition meta and free NFTs. So a lot of people were like, dude, 0.12 ETH, like, who the fuck do you think you are, like cash grab, etc., etc. So we were struggling a little bit with our mint, even because of how we kind of set up the mint. We gave 333 NFTs for free, which are the inner circle plushies. We explained the community why those are important, why they are free. We even locked them for a little bit so people weren't able to trade them. And then we were struggling with our mint for a bit, so we needed to pivot real quick. So we decided to reduce the mint price from 0.12 ETH to 0.03 ETH. And all the people who minted plushies at 0.12 ended up getting plushies for free, right? Because they were supporting us, and people who were minting at 0.03, well, they were, pretty much entering, the project and community at a lower price. So we kind of created a bunch of whales, at least the guys who truly supported us. And the communities that were supporting us a lot were people from the Project Penguins community, from the Campaign Pandas community. So they pretty much were like, dude, whatever you guys need, we're going to be there for you. And anyways, long story short, we reduced the mint price and we sold out really, really quick. And then after that, we started, obviously growing the community, letting people know what do we want to do. They already kind of understood that storytelling is very important for the plushies, 3D art is very important for the plushies, and gaming, right? Like even way before that, like the second wave, I would say, of Web3 gaming was kind of a thing. They really liked that experience. We were having a bunch of daily active users on the first iteration of Plushie Island, and that was kind of like the aha moment for us. We were like, oh shit, you know what? We need to revamp the whole experience, make it heaps better. So let's just allocate, a bunch of funds, private funds, the stuff that we raised, like, which, to be fair, like, it wasn't even a lot of money, to be honest. Again, on the 2K ETH small collection anyways, we also gave some for free, etc. So we decided to push really, really hard on Plushie Island. So we've been developing that game for a very long time now, like 12, 16 months. Obviously there's some stuff that we need to fix, bugs, etc. So once abstract mainnet goes live, we can do that. So we kept growing the community. We kept, there were a bunch of ups and downs, with some partnerships that didn't go the way that we wanted to go. It didn't go that well, but the community kept running for us. Like, they truly believe in, Victor the Viking as a founder, sidekick Penelope, who's kind of like, it's the giga brain. Like, everything techie has to do with him. He's such a giga brain. So, by the way, just, like a small bracket, like every time that I get to talk about Victor and Penelope with other people, I feel like Victor is Steve Jobs and Penelope is, Steve Wozniak. So we were doing a bunch of stuff, and then, the community kept growing. They were super patient with the stuff that we were doing, super transparent with where we were, and we got to the point that, it's really hard to, like, build in Web3 with, without having, big VCs backing you up or having a big ass treasury, right? But people notice that, and they realize, holy shit, these guys are doing a bunch of stuff with a limited amount of money. Like, surely if they could have even a little bit more, or even more exposure, they can do so much more. And that's where Luca comes into play, right? And like I said, going back to the story, the origin story of Victor the Viking as a Project Penguin and being an OG Project Penguin. I mean, you can see Cole as well, who got onboarded as well to the Plooshies to help, complete the collection. He was in charge of, completing a bunch of the one-of-ones that you see in our collection, some other trades as well. So a bunch of support from the Project Penguins, and he's the one who sent us a DM letting us know, like, hey, you guys need to build on abstract. Like, it makes absolute sense for you guys as the Plooshies to build on abstract. So obviously we got that DM, and then we kind of had like an emergency call, like, hey, dude, this is what we need to do, because people already knew that we were building Plushie Island, right? We were getting a bunch of calls and DMs from multiple L2s for us to bring our IP, Plushie Island, etc., to that L2. But the moment Luca texted us and we had a call with him, multiple calls, etc., it just made a lot of sense for us to bring, Plushie Island, the upcoming token as well, Cuddle, the upcoming NFTs, which are apartments and houses on Plushie Island. Because, I mean, maybe I haven't said that, but Plooshy Island is going to be this Web3 game. It's going to be WebGL based, so a browser game. You don't need to download anything or whatever. You're going to be able to play as your favorite plushie if you are a plushie holder. If you don't, it's also, I mean, it's free to play anyway, so you'll see them as guests, quote unquote, naked plushies. And there will also be other Web3 IPs, potentially Web2 IPs as well on Plooshy Island. First as AI-driven NPCs, and obviously the goal is to bring the collection, their collections to the game as well. But the game is, in simple terms, is picture The Sims plus Animal Crossing. So that's what's going to be Plooshies, right? So there's going to be a bunch of daily quests that you need to get them from Plushie Sensei, which is a new character. There's going to be an arcade on Plushie Island where you're going to be able to play, you know, mini games. It's a multiplayer game where you can hang out with your friends. These houses and apartments, I mean, you're going to be able to buy with the off-chain token called Plushie Points. You know, a bunch of stuff that you can place at your place, in your place. The houses are more important. That's why there's even the supply of the houses is limited compared to the apartments, because there are crystals underneath, and there's going to be mining mechanisms. So you're going to be able to mine those crystals, and you can, you know, go to a marketplace, swap them for Plushie points. But if you're a Plushie holder and if you're soft staking your Plushies, there's an extra multiplier, so you can level up your plushies. So people are going to be able to level up your plushies as they keep mining those crystals. If you don't own a house, but you still want to mine those crystals for a little bit of extra PP for the lols, which is plushie points, you need to pay people PP, right? So let's say that you, Dan, you don't own a house, and then you go and knock on my door and you're like, hey, Bogan, I want to mine some crystals, here's some PP. And the interesting thing though is that obviously there's a bunch of gamification in how we want to play that. People will be able to set their price, right? Like I will be able to tell you, okay, give me a certain amount of PP for you to be able to mine these crystals. Obviously, the pickaxes that you buy on the marketplace, some have different rarities. Some of them will break down very easily. Maybe you're not going to be able to hit those crystals. So yeah, a bunch of stuff. Even the way that people will migrate their PP, their Plushy points, to the upcoming token Cuddle. There's going to be a bank. You know, a bank on Plushy Island, which essentially is the bridge for you to be able to swap Plushy points to Cuddle and back and forth. You know, even that is gamified, right? So they might be, because there's going to be liquidity pools with a certain amount of PP that can be bridged every single day, depending on the amount of players on Plooshy Island, and depending the amount of people that people, the amount of people that people are getting on Plooshy Island via quests and mining, etc. So yeah, there's a bunch of gamification. Obviously, we have, you know, the GDD, the gaming, you know, design, and you know. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm super excited, not gonna lie. And obviously bringing, you know, not just the game, but bringing the Plooshies IP, bringing upcoming merch, bringing upcoming products, even the name Plooshies, right? I keep saying this, and I really hope there will come a time that people start referring to plushies, you know, the physical plushies, as Plooshies, right? Kind of like people refer to tissues as Kleenex because that's the name of the brand. I mean, we have really, really big, you know, a big vision where we want to, you know, bring our brand, also not here in Web3, but in Web2, and keep, you know, redefining our strategies on Web2 with the stuff we've done on Instagram, TikTok. You know, you watched, you know, the lo-fi channels that we have on YouTube that maybe a lot of people are not familiar with. So we need to revamp a bunch of those stuff. Like, how do we introduce that to Web2, to normies, and also as well here in Web3? And that's where Abstract comes into play, right? Like, they've done it. They've proven themselves with the Pudgy Penguins and with the other stuff that they've done. They can bring lovable IPs where people resonate with, and they're just going to help us a lot to, you know, get to that other level with the Plooshies IP.
Dude, it sounds amazing. I mean, I'm excited. I always thought, like, I've been thinking for a long time that Animal Crossing needs like a really easily like online revamp where, you know, people can access it more. And then the idea of using a Web3 economy on top of that is just like awesome. And then to triple it up is that you can use all these decentralized IPs and incorporate that into like this one world where like people can interact and have houses. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer, and I think you know, in terms of just the strategy as well, it's just like, if this can, you know, if you can pay creators or, you know, find referral ways that people can create this on TikTok, like content, like this
Yep.
will easily go. I mean, I think this is just an idea that everyone understands, and everybody, you know, it's just a great idea. And I think your execution is, like, you know, just been amazing so far. Like, even watching the trailer, I was like, damn, that like looks
Thanks, man.
awesome.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, we are insanely blessed to have really, really talented people in the team. Like, it's a lean team, anyways. Like, it's a
Yeah.
startup company, so I mean, you know that as well. Like, we don't have a bunch of people working for us at the moment. Obviously, we want to expand the team so we can, scale everything up even, quicker than what we are doing so far. But the fact that we have someone like Cole, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Someone like Win, who are insanely talented at what they do. Like, I could never do the stuff that they do. It helps us a lot, right? I mean, pretty much the IP, they created the IP, right? Even, I mean, obviously Win, but Cole has helped a lot. Like I said, I mean, he can even, you can even say that, Cole. Like, I mean, he was in charge of developing a bunch of the one of ones that you can see in our collection and some trades. Obviously, him and Win, they did a bunch of stuff for Plushie Island. Because we, as the Plooshies, we are not a gaming company. Like, we are not developing the game. We are all outsourcing that with a company based in the UK who've done games that are very similar to our vision. They even did stuff for Axie Infinity back in the day. So they're pretty well known. Their name is Blue Gravity Studio. Like, people can Google them. And bunch of calls like Cole, like how fucking intense that was, because obviously there was a bunch of a learning curve with just being a 3D artist who's not heavily focused on gaming, like gaming assets. There's a huge difference. Like, Cole can tell you all about that. Having the right team to develop Plushie Island. For a long time we didn't really see a bunch of progress, but I suppose that's just the phases of gaming development. And then there was a time that we were like, dude, like, what are we doing? And then suddenly they different versions, and then there was one particular version that really clicked, and we truly see our vision of how we want to see Plushie Island. And we were like, dude, holy shit. Like, people now can see the obviously first the cinematic trailer, because like I said, we like to, whenever we announce something big, we want to do something like that. But now people can see the in-game trailer, and it looks, in my opinion, it looks really good. Like I said, there's a few things that we need to improve, but that's always going to happen, right? Like, it's the nature of, I would say, Web3 gaming, where you develop kind of like never-ending games, where you always want to bring something new, refresh ideas, refresh the game loop, take feedback from the community, bring season 1 and season 2 to blah blah blah. Like, it's just it's a never-ending stuff, and we just want to build a game that people will just simply enjoy, have fun with their friends. It's a hyper casual game anyways. It's not like a AAA game that we spend millions of dollars. Like, we've spent a lot of money, not gonna lie, but not an absurd amount of money. Yes, in the probably high six figures. But yeah, it's just exciting times. And yeah, dude, like it's just it's one of those things that, like you guys are bringing something too abstract as well. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that. But yeah, the excitement, right? Like, you can feel that right now, feeling those kind of like bull vibes 2021. Yeah, it feels good, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it was pretty much out of nowhere. I mean, I think a lot of the consensus was really the, like, when honestly, a lot of the hype really occurred when Pengu, like funny enough, like, went to Solana, which was really an interesting, which is an interesting thing. Not everyone fully understood that right away. They're like, why aren't you launching a coin on your L2 or on Abstract, which I always thought Pengu was going to be on Abstract. And it's really like, I quickly kind of realized, and I think everyone kind of realized, like, wow, like, well, maybe if Pengu drops on Abstract, maybe it's $100 million coin. But if you do it on Solana, where everyone's already there,
Yep.
it'll be much, much bigger. And then you can kind of, slowly bring everyone over to abstract. And I think that really like caused people to really take, in an unfortunate way, like that was kind of the Trojan horse that got, I believe, abstract like a lot of attention. I think there's like a million other reasons, and I think you and I, talking to them, like kind of know, a little bit of the deeper nuances of why we think abstract is going to go. But I think the
Yep.
space, and this was kind of one of our first mistakes, is that we really built everything with a really artistic mindset, not really understanding the game of like Web3 on liquidity, and that we're building a lot, for traders, and how do you position yourself to get the most attention? And it's usually, like us all, like people want to make money, and I think that's fair, but we didn't really account for that. So there's a lot of strategy that you need to really have to bring to attention. And I think your idea of Plooshies it's just an easily understandable, marketable idea that can bring consumer crypto. So I'm not surprised that you guys have like, are having the eyes on your success, and like, bro, like the attention to detail, right? Like we're doing a space, and now, you guys are making me a cheap thing, and everyone can watch that. Like, there's people who care, and I think that's very, very evident. And I think those projects will rise. And I think abstract in general, right? Like is now just like, now it's like, I'm getting 500 DMs a day. Like it's pretty crazy.
Dude, it's pretty crazy. Yeah. I
And
know.
every alpha, dude, I didn't know there's 5,000. There's 100,000 alpha channels. I'm like, dude, where are these?
Where do they come from? Yeah, where do they come from? Yeah.
There's tens of thousands of DAOs, alphas, and so it's also been like this weird part of just like, all right, like everyone's kind of paying attention to what's going on in abstract now, and it's a blessing, but also, most of these people want to, just get a mint that they can flip for a 0.02 profit. And I think the part for me is to not be so mad about that, but to kind of just understand like that's the game, and everyone has a part in this ecosystem. And Web3 is beautiful because it's a bunch of people who might not have the exact same goal, like kind of like indirectly helping and working with each other, like there's this economy of like people who shill, people who write threads, the artists, the influencers, and they all like, benefit from each other's success. And the rising of, one is actually the rising of others. Like the rise of Pengu is extremely good for abstract. I'm rooting for them. I know never to fade Luca ever again. Not that I ever did, but I mean, it's like, how many times does he need to do the impossible? How many times does he need to be proven right? And some people are fighting like, oh, like it's a 4 billion coin that went down to a 2 billion coin. I'm like, yeah.
I don't get those people though. It's insane. Like launching a coin that's hitting billions. Like, dude, like so many other coins take fucking years to get to that level, right? And they just launched one and it hit 5, and then it went down to 2.5, sitting maybe around 3. But we're talking about billions. Like we're not talking about millions, and people got free money, right? Like, I mean, obviously, if you pay taxes, it's not gonna be the full amount or whatever. But I mean, it's essentially free money, right? But yeah, it's insane how people complain that their airdrop, I mean, instead of being worth maybe now, I don't know, it was worth $2,000 and now it's just $1,000. Like, dude, it's $1,000. Like, what are you complaining about? Like now you are part of the hodl. That's the whole idea, to expand the whole ecosystem, because obviously big pengus, like the pengus are expensive, Leals are getting quite expensive too. But now you're part of the whole. Now you're part of the whole experience, and it's a proven team. Led by Luca and and Peter and the others. Like, dude, it's hard not to see these go fucking wild, especially because they launched their coin in a completely different market than when the Bored Apes did it with Ape, right? Like they did it at the very tail end of the bull market of the last cycle, and they're doing this not at the very beginning, but it is the beginning, right? Like we want to believe that it's the beginning, so there's no reason why Pengu, as the token, and obviously the IP, with everything that they've done, and now our abstract as well, won't be successful, right? And as well, that trickles down to founders and builders and projects that are choosing to go with
Yeah.
abstract, to go with that abstract route. Because now we gain access to, I see that from our perspective, right, from the Plooshies
Hmm.
perspective, and now we gain access to, being able to unlock doors that perhaps we couldn't do that before that. But now, because
Yeah.
we have that seal of approval from the Igloo Inc. Corporation, Luca, Pengus, Abstract, etc., now people are paying attention, right? People were kind of like sleeping on, the stuff that you guys were doing, the stuff that we were doing, and now that we have that seal of approval, people want to know more, and that's why we're here, like kind of like introducing them to what we're doing and the team. And it's not just about the Plooshies, but who's behind the Plooshies, or who's behind multiple projects. Or yeah, I mean, it's exciting, it's a bit exhausting as well, but it's part of the game. It's time to lock in. Right, I mean, it's a bull
Yep, yep.
market thing anyways. But yeah, dude, it's just, yeah, so exciting, dude. So exciting.
So exciting, man. And I think it's just the start. And I think a lot of the problem is too, like we've talked to L2s, and I'm sure you guys have as well. And I don't want to throw shade on any other chains, but their idea of support is yo, let me like tweet you, and we'll do a
Yeah.
giveaway for you. And that's not a community, and that's not support. And I think Abstract brings along, something that's just different, like you said, like the sharing of resources, of realizing that we're all in this together, like we're all on the same boat, like everything is connected, right? Like the holders of Plooshies is connected, they're connected to you and how you do. And if
Yeah.
the more power you give them, like the stronger they become and the stronger you become. And then now we have an extension, right? And like almost like a grandfather, right? And the grandfather is Abstract, and the more we do for them, the more it helps, and the more they can help us as well. And so everything is really
Agreed.
connected, and it's this beautiful like family tree where most L2s, I would say, and most chains, like they don't really understand like how to build that or how to do that. And that's because you can't manufacture that. Like, there is no, that's culture, that's community, and Penguins have done that
100%.
in a way. And I'm excited to, I'm excited to use this opportunity to not only like, okay, like let's, like sell a collection up, but like, all right, like now that we have the attention, like how do I push push what I think Web3 can be? Like, I think it could be a great place where everyone works together towards a common goal that's incentivized. But B, like, how do I like innovate? How do I create something that's never been done? Like, what community would I want to be a part of? Like, as a person who, my life doesn't revolve around crypto, and like, how do I make NFTs cool? How do I make people want to access it? And so we thought about that for a long time, and really our approach right now with the Moonsheep is really that it's as simple as you want it to be, and it's as complex as you'd want it to be as well. Like, it's simple but complex. Like, it's at its simplest form, like it's just a sheep and it's just a coin. It's a coin about a sheep. And if you're retail, maybe you've heard people call other people sheep. Maybe you see our viral Instagrams. Maybe you see live sheep roaming around. Maybe we bought sheep and we live stream it. Like, this is capturing the mimetic value of an idea. Like, meme coins is a completely different game than NFTs, in that most of the strongest meme coins stand for something, an idea or a movement. And so that's kind of what we're doing with Sheep, which is its own vector and its own form of marketing. But Moonsheep itself is like, okay, they're symbiotic, and because it's an NFT hybrid. So for those that don't know, if you have 100,000 coins, if you have 100,000 coins, you get one Moonsheep, and that's automatically given. So, I think the next wave of consumers like comes on through like, if you've heard Murad's kind of thesis, comes on through meme coins, because it's addicting. It's easy. You don't really have to think about it. But if you want to be involved in a deeper ecosystem, if you want to be involved in building the brand, you'll fight your way up to get a Moonsheep. And now you can build, you have a community, you have a people, you have culture, you have this brand that we can create together. So it's like, that's, I think, one of the better ways to onboard people is actually through the coin. And if the coin makes you some money, you kind of want to do research about it. What is this? Oh wow, there's a brand
Yeah,
behind it.
true.
Okay, if I get more sheep, I'll get a moon sheep. And what does a moon sheep do? Oh, I'll get abstract awards. So we're kind of really
Mm.
thinking about it in multiple levels. Like we have this really big idea of being moon sheep, which we created this narrative where moon sheep different, if you see from our Twitter, it's like, we're not trying to just create like regular ass art. Like these aren't communities. Like there's a plan where moon sheep is traveling to these different planets, aka different IPs. So what if we can create an IP
Right.
kind of like you guys, where that
Mm.
incorporates all the other IPs? And how do I bring value to the other communities who were like me, who might have put it in the bear? Like, how do I create content around them, because we have an expertise in animation and we're talking to like large animation studios? Like, how do I put everyone on, and how do I create this prove the idea and thesis of a decentralized IP, like in a non-gatekeeping, like a Marvel world with all the IP? Like, why shouldn't we make a TV show with all the IP, including, sheep
Yeah.
going into Plooshies world? And
Yeah.
can't believe no one's thinking about that or moving in that way. Like, I just like, and so now we need to be those guys.
Yeah, dude. So interesting that you mentioned that, right? Because a while ago, every time that we had these, like big ideas, right? One of the things that
Yeah.
we want to introduce as well is short animation videos on YouTube with our IP. And what
Yep.
we want to do with these, short animation videos is something completely relatable to, kind of like the kids market, where people can, the kids, nowadays kids, I see that with my niece, right? Like she's
Yep.
probably the number one fan of the plushies, right? Like when she sees me, she's like, plushies, plushies, plushies. She loves the plushies.
Yeah. Yeah.
She can't wait to see Plushie Island. I show her the, the kind of like the trailer that we did for what could potentially be our YouTube animation videos, and she's like, "This is so cool! I like it a lot." She created a song about the
Yeah.
plushies, right? So we want to do that, and when you mentioned that as well, right? Like obviously by bringing people who are holding specific plushies that can get into that, those YouTube animation videos, and if they become quite successful, then we can do something and reward people who we've been using their IP, right? Because they own their IP, so they can get something off of that. But then again, bring other IPs to those animation videos where we can see a bunch of other IPs, whether that be coming from Web3 or Web2. And that's something that I'm very, very excited to kind of like start ramping that up again. But yeah, it's so many things that can be done, right? But yeah, I do have a question for you though, because
Yeah.
there is an existing NFT collection, right?
Yep.
And now the stuff that you want to bring onto Abstract, that's going to be the token, correct?
Yes. The 404.
Okay. And how have you managed the whole, knowing that you're getting a bunch of DMs, like we are getting DMs, because people want to get a whitelist spot for that. How do people get one? Like, do they need to own an NFT? How are you handling that? Whether that be, you were saying like tens of hundreds of thousands of author groups that suddenly you're like, where are you coming from? Like, who are you? But yeah,
I mean,
like your community, other communities.
yeah. I mean, we're really prioritizing like people who supported us. Like, there are some
Yeah.
communities who had a sheep, and like loyalty is repaid, like we'll hear them out and we'll give them some spots if they had a sheep, or even if they buy a sheep. We're kind of
Yeah.
in this together. And I try to do as many calls as I can to suss out, like, are they trying to kind of take advantage, or do they want to build with us?
Mm,
Because there's a way to even partner with alpha collabs. If it's mutual, it's like, hey, like if you have a bunch of people who willing to write threads about us, talk about us, you want to, I'm like, yo, I'll hop on a call like with you
yeah.
if you want. And so Moose has been great. He's been holding it down, and we're just trying to give little communities like, a chance, instead of these alpha collabs that, don't give a shit about us. And
Fucking up. Yeah.
I mean, some do. I'm not saying everybody. And then sorry, this my bad.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
And then we're making sure everyone who has the sad times obviously can get a free guaranteed mint list. And then, you know, I kind of comb through the Twitters like myself. Like I've literally been hand selecting people to give whitelist like too. Like, right? Like there's a bunch of people in here. Like I'm gonna look through this chat, probably give out some
Yeah.
whitelist spots if someone could screenshot who's in here and who's already messaged. If you message now, you know, I might ignore it, but anybody who's messaged before without even being asked, like I'd love to give you guys all, everyone who's literally messaged in the chat, you guys got spots. Like I'm making it as easy for people who are, you know, legit people to get spots and as hard as
Yep.
possible for people who are trying to extract to get spots. And I think that's
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah, that's actually a really good strategy. Because we're also kind of like in the middle of the process of, you know, announcing how we're gonna be dealing with the collapse. Because what we're bringing to Abstract, right? Besides, you know, the game and the upcoming token, that we actually, you know, like the seed round is pretty much closed. We're currently in the public round number one. We haven't really done a lot of, you know, marketing related to that token. But there will come a time that there will be some sense of urgency related to that specific round. So then we can move on to the other one, the final, let's go to public round number two. But with the most of the people, the NFT people are focusing on the upcoming NFT, which are houses and apartments. So there's 3,333 plushies. So every single plushie is entitled to one free apartment. And the apartments, the supply of those apartments will be 4,000. So there's only going to be a limited supply left that we can allocate to communities. Obviously, we are focusing a lot on people who are building on Abstract. We want to support each other. Obviously, we're getting DMs from a bunch of other groups and well, et cetera, other NFT communities and such. But then we have the houses. That's even an even limited supply. So houses on Plushie Island, there's only going to be 444. Um, and some of those houses have already been allocated to some of the plushie holders, people who've been with us for a very long time, who collected plushies because we have sets in our collection, right? So, as you know, there's 11 different animals in our collection, right? So, if you have one of each, you get the family set. So we created a website called the set builder, so people were able to place their plushies and create a family set, right? So we took a snapshot, and now people are entitled to a free large house. So there's going to be large, medium, and there's even mansions, right? But those who completed the family set, they have, you know, the guaranteed house, the large one. There's another set called legendary set, which is, you know, they need to have three plushies with, you know, they are part of the green team, part of the red team, and part of the blue team, and then they will get the medium house. But then looking at those things and the supply that is left that we can allocate to certain communities, it's very, very limited. Um, so we're kind of like in the process. Okay, we're gonna be announcing next week for a bunch of people who've been in our DMs, and perhaps you are watching this. Wait for that announcement next week, where people will pretty much fill a form. We're gonna be like you, kind of vetting the people who are showing interest. Um, to you know, to mint the free apartments, and there's going to be an upcoming announcement related to those houses, because they are very, very coveted. To be honest, it's a small supply, like I explained here. They comes, you know, they come with perks, right? Like people can pay you with plushy points. There's going to be crystals on the need. The houses obviously have bigger space for you to allocate more stuff and buy and place furniture and whatever you want to play put there. There's specific items that will play a very important role on your house on Plooshy Island, etc., etc. So yeah, just wait for that. And yeah, like you were saying, Dan, like, dude, it gets wild, right? Like it kind of brings me to when we were minting as well, like back in 2023, the Plooshies, getting a bunch of DMs, you know, making sure that every single wallet is, you know, on the contract so they can mint. But yeah, I mean, it's fun, a bit exhausting, but it's only gonna get more tiring. So yeah, just guys, if you're listening to this bit in particular, just wait for next week so we can properly announce how we're gonna be dealing with those collabs for the upcoming, you know, apartment and houses mint.
I'm so excited, man, and you know, I would love to give your community some spots and do some collaborative artwork together. And
Let's
um, my
Oh.
sad boy sheep is looking so dope. I can't wait to post this guy, dude. I'm so pumped. Thank you, Cole. You're crushing it. This is so sick.
Yeah.
I'm just a big art lover, and this kind of stuff is just watching it is it's dude, it's awesome. And yeah, this is my favorite part of being a founder is the ability to create. And also, I think the next part is the ability to create with others is going to be extremely
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, dude. Dude, just music to my ears, right? Like it's all about networking, collaborating, but not just. I always think about, like, even when I've been talking to groups or other collab managers and such, I really like to jump on calls with them, like one-on-one calls, and explain them what we're doing and why are they showing interest in the Plooshies at the moment, right? Like, I just want to get to know them a little bit more, because I truly believe that there should be more than just a whitelist exchange for your community to be able to mint. We can do something more. Like, there's so many opportunities here. Oh, I think I lost you for a bit.
I'm not sure if I lost you or if it might have been me. It probably is me because I'm in the car. But
Yeah, I don't know if it was you or me, but yeah, I guess we were rugging for a little bit. Hey, it wouldn't be I guess X spaces, but now it's a live stream without rugging for a bit. Um, but yeah, like I was saying, right? Like, finding ways to go above and beyond uh, with your typical whitelist exchange and such. Like, there's so many opportunities to do stuff together. Like, today we're doing this. Obviously, like, like, I'm very grateful that you guys or that you want to give some whitelist spots to our community. We will obviously do the same with you guys for the upcoming houses and apartment mint. And there's many things that we can do together, right? Like, obviously we can discuss that via DMs and on another call, etc. But there's so much potential, and that's something that I truly like, about building in, on abstract. Like, I feel like the abstract community, obviously the community, but also the people who are building stuff, the founders and team members. It's such an easy way to network with people. Because we all have the same goal, right? And we are backed by someone as big as Eagle Inc. and the Penguins Looker, etc. So yeah, it just makes it easier. And I remember you were mentioning that with other L2s, without throwing shade or whatever, like, this feels different, right? This is an L2 built kind of like by the community for the community, where there's just going to be so many exciting things over there.
yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, everyone I've met through Abstract has been amazing. Even meeting their team, like I went to Art Basel and met their team. Like everyone's just so passionate, and even the founders, like, I like ask a question, and Mike or Beans will kind of respond to me personally, like right away, and just like, what do you need? What do you need help? And Mason, the head of the ecosystem, can't talk,
Yeah,
like, couldn't say anything. Like, dude, that guy is amazing. He is so on
he's
it.
an absolute goat. Like, shout out
He's the
to
best.
Mason for
Yeah,
sure.
he is.
Honestly, dude.
He's the MVP. I'm like, dude, how do I clone you? Because I need a Mason.
Dude, I was
Need
gonna
him.
say that as well. I know we all need a Mason. Honestly, we all need a Mason in our teams, because that dude is fucking crushing it. So yeah, shout
Yeah,
out to
yeah.
Mason.
Even he's like, is there anything I can help you with? I'm like, I was like, yeah,
How
actually.
do I?
But
Kind of like thinking to yourself, like, how do I poach Mason and bring him to my team?
yeah. How do I steal from Abstract? I'm sure that would be
Yeah,
great for our relationship.
I know. Yeah, dude, 100%. But yeah, I think Cole was just letting us know that he has to leave like in about 5 minutes. Is that right, Cole?
Yeah, and I'm
Cool,
also
cool.
done, I think.
Okay, cool.
Nice. I mean,
Maybe
it looks amazing.
it looks amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude. He always cooks. He knows how to cook, and yeah, he's even done stuff for other projects as well. Like, shout out to Sappy Sales, for instance. He's done stuff for them. The Chimpers as well.
That's
Um,
that's
yeah,
awesome. I'd
Froggy
love
Friends.
if you can send it to me too, Cole. I'll tweet it.
Yeah, we'll do. It just takes like an hour to render, maybe. So yeah,
Cool,
I'll
cool.
send it tonight.
Perfect.
All
Well,
right.
thank you
Well,
guys so much for having me on here. I mean, I don't know if you have any more questions for me. But yeah, just really
um,
excited for this all.
yeah, really. I mean, I wish we could have more time. We can always have like a part two or whatever. But yeah, dude. Like honestly, I'm rooting for you guys. I'm so glad to have builders like yourself. Uh, on Abstract, part of the ecosystem. I'm very excited for the stuff that you want to bring, and obviously grateful as well that you want to give some widely spots to our community. I let them know, and obviously later on I can give you the list with the wallets, etc., etc., and we'll do the same for you. Next week I'm going to start ramping up all of that stuff with the groups that I already have in mind, that I've had combos, etc. And with
Yeah.
those are the people that I'm not gonna lie, I'll give them some sort of priority before we you know release the form, um, because this for me feels so much better, right? Like I said, like a typical whitelist exchange, because there's so many things that we can do together, right? Like we both are building an abstract. The IPs are super cool, super cute. Your community, I mean, you guys have been in the space for quite a while, so that's a testament of how strong your community and you guys as builders are. But yeah, other
Thank
than
you.
that,
Yeah, I
if
mean,
you
we should make some art,
Mhm.
right, together. Like, I was just thinking, like, we can have Moonsheep kind of land down in Plooshies World and figure out what's happening, and create a bunch of
Yeah.
cozy assets. And I've
Yes,
been
sir.
saying too to others, like communities, I'm like, yo, like I don't want to do one off of like, and then we're exchanging playlists. Like, dude, like I want to
Yeah.
continue to build your lore and world with you, and explore it and ask questions and show, show other communities like what your project is about, and as well as like
Yep.
that's our kind of goal for Web2 as well. Is like we want to create an Instagram that like showcases of all these Moonsheep in these different worlds. So Plooshies
Mhm.
is definitely on that top of that list. I can just already tell from these comments like you guys have a real amazing community, and I think that's there's not a I would say there's not a lot, but I think that's really important. This
Mm.
idea of community of people coming together, and um, I just think it's beautiful, and it's not easy to kind of just like fake create. Like real community goes through hard times and goes through things together, and um,
Yep.
I don't know, it's beautiful. Not to get too deep.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, thank you for that. And dude, I think this is the first time I think we broke a record together. Like we have, if I check correctly, like 1,100 people here.
That's
1,011.
crazy. To be honest, I
Yeah,
didn't know if it was just
1,120.
us
Yeah.
three because I'm on my phone and there's only like I only see
But
three screens. I'm like, are we
yeah,
talking to ourselves?
no, like there's literally more than 1,000 people watching at the moment, and I couldn't be more grateful for you guys. Like you could have been anywhere, and you chose to be here today. I think our
Thanks,
ATH, if you
guys.
want to call it that way, it's been a while,
Yeah.
but I think we hit 800 people, and today we
Wow.
surpassed
So we beat it.
1,000. So that's wild. So yeah, we beat it. We beat it together. So yeah, it's part of the history. Hey. So yeah, dude,
That's
let's fucking
amazing.
plush.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for being here. And I would love to kind of just say in closing statements, like, I think for Moonsheep, really expect the unexpected. Expect us to do things that's never been done. Expect us to push the boundaries in every single way. We're not like trying to be, some normie like NFT like project. Like we're trying to create things that no one's ever seen and no one's ever done. And I believe being on Abstract, we have a lot of advantages, and will be
Mm.
one of the top projects along with Plooshies in 2025, not just in the abstract ecosystem, but I'm confident that we will have our day in 2025. So thanks for everyone for being here. I'm so grateful for it, and thank you for the people who believe in art and believe in community and believe in this, and I'm here to support you guys as well. So yeah, Bogan, if there's anything you ever need from me and your community, like let's keep chatting, let's create together.
Yep. Yep, likewise. Like, I mean, after those closing words, I don't even know what to tell anymore. But yeah, honestly, grateful for everyone. Thank you for spending some time with Cole, with Dan, and with myself. Thank you guys. We'll catch you on the next one. And like, you look at what Cole just did. Plus sheep.
Plooshies,
that's
I'm
that's
stealing that.
fucking
Thank
epic. That's
Cole,
fucking
thank you
epic.
so
But
much. You're
Hey,
an
thank you.
amazing
That was
artist. I'm
fun
so
talking.
excited.
yeah, dude. All right, guys. Well, thanks for your time. Have a good one, and we'll catch you on the next one. And
Thanks,
I'll see you
everyone.
in DMs, all right? All right.
Thanks,
Cheers,
Plooshy
guys.
fam. Thanks, Bogan. Cool.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks. See ya. Have a good one. Cheers.